We'll move to item 4, the state of the district ad hoc committee update. Jim and I met with staff. I don't remember the date. Liz, if you remember the date. But anyway, staff came up with a couple of scenarios for us. One dealing with a community meeting. Second option was video and postcard mailing. And then the third option was partnering with Mesa Water. Kind of in a nutshell, if we're going to do this, it's going to cost us some money. And they're all fairly expensive. I think probably the most expensive was the videotaping. I think we looked at that. We're looking at, almost $10,000 for video and almost $10,000, about $9,300 to do a postcard. The third option, partnering with Mesa Water, I think the cost was one thing, but the logistics of it was really the hard part. We have to conform with what Mesa Water when their days. So I think that option was kind of. I think Jim kind of blew that off.
Yeah.
Plus, they've already done one that's not within 6 months or so. They've done one.
The first option, having a community meeting, the range is anywhere from $1,000 to $5,100 to have it at the Costa Mesa Country Club with a breakfast, depending on the type of breakfast and things like that. But I wanted to bring up something that Arlene had mentioned to me about. We're going to be opening a new building relatively soon, and wouldn't it make more sense to tie this into the opening of the building and to do it all at one time rather than have a couple of different things? So I think that's kind of the direction I would lean towards. Jim, I don't know.
Yeah, just combine the two, and we're going to be doing a grand opening anyway, so we might as well be as efficient financially as we can, and I think it would serve both purposes. Personally.
Do you think that we could do that this calendar year? I would think so. With our.
I would think so.
Yeah, I would think so.
Unless the escrow gets pushed out.
That's what I was thinking.
You have to go through the plan check on it.
Do you think it would be completed by, say, October, November?
Yeah, I think.
I like that idea a lot.
Midsummer. I really thought it was
The only limited thing we have would be parking, because we only have like 45 parking spots.
Well, that's up to them where they have to park. But one thing that is good about this is that the idea is everybody wants to come see where we're at.
Yeah.
They want to see what it looks like, no matter if we're done or not done or whatever.
No, I like the idea a lot.
We get more of an audience than if you just say we're going to have a state of the sanitary district. They come to see that. It's like a carrot.
We would only have to. Our expenses would be just hors d'oeuvres or Cokes or water or something.
Or whatever we're doing. Yeah.
Whatever we're doing. That would be.
Advertise fees.
No, I think that's the direction you guys should consider going in. But we just have to kind of get our program set and then pick the date once it's,
All right, then at this point, we don't really need to meet then as a committee, and we'll just kind of wait until we get closer to whatever opening or event or whatever we're going to do. So, okay.
Does the staff think the same way?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we kind of agreed, didn't we?
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Item 5, the Christmas tree recycling.
Thank you, Mr. President. Elizabeth Bailey will be giving the report.
Thank you, Mr. President and fellow board members. As you know, CR&R provides free Christmas tree collection for residents 3 weeks after Christmas, where it's recycled and turned into mulch. However, when the 80 of those becomes available in April, it will be then turned into energy. For 2015, we collected a total of 4,719 trees, which reflects a 7.7% decrease from last year. However, despite the decrease, the total tonnage was 82.48, reflecting a 1% increase from the previous year. And we've talked about this before because this was like I think believe 2013 we had this issue. I think it's people are buying fake trees, and the people that are purchasing real trees are purchasing bigger trees that weigh more. So, you know, it reflects the decrease and the increase in the tonnage.
That's interesting.
Now, we did receive a moderate amount of complaints about missed Christmas tree pickups, but it's important to note that we did have a storm from January 4th to the 8th, and it caused major delays with trash pickup. So I think it wasn't safe conditions for our CR&R to pick up the trees.
Maybe instead of complaints, you could call them second request.
Second
Yeah,
request.
yeah, that's exactly right.
And the findings for the previous 4 years can be reflected in the graphs below.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Previous years, have we counted that tonnage of trees into our recycling
I keep
totals?
looking so that I should-
Have we, do we? Okay. Okay.
I know for the organic recycling tonnage, that was included for the month of December.
Okay. Good.
It is interesting when I look at this, the number of trees decrease. I don't know whether it's fake trees or if it's. I have a lot of friends that just didn't even put a Christmas tree up this year, so I don't know. I mean, I don't know how that bodes. Maybe there was some sign of respecting the drought or something, not buying a tree.
Well, you know, some people were going somewhere else for Christmas, and they decided, you know, why should I put stuff up?
Mhm.
So
Not
it's a
my
series
wa-
of things.
Not my wife. Okay, any other questions for staff? Thank you for the report. Item 6.
Thank you, Mr. President. So again, Elizabeth Family Unit Report.
Thank you. Just a brief synopsis of the meeting. It was 3 presentations. The first one began with Mallory Burden, who just pretty much reported that the information regarding AB 1826, mandatory recycling, organic recycling, has been updated on the website. And then we had another presentation from Dr. Eric Handler from OC Environmental Health, who presented on Waste Not OC, which is a public-private partnership coalition group. And their overall vision of the group is to end hunger and reduce food waste in OC. And the third presentation, which was conveniently timed, was from our very own General Manager, Scott Terrell, and CR&R's Mike Silva. And they pretty much presented on the district's organics recycling program and showcased the use of anaerobic digestion technology to convert food and yard waste into renewable energy. We didn't have many questions after that. I'm assuming they were just too impressed with the presentation.
No doubt about
it. So it was a good one.
Is that how you saw it too? You didn't get a lot of questions?
Yeah. And
That's
they
a good
just
program,
asked
though.
us
It's a good program to present.
Good. Any other questions for Elizabeth? Good. Thank you very much. Item 7.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. So, for the past 5-6 years, we've had the city of Costa Mesa maintaining our fleet. And if you've seen your staff report, our fleet has grown considerably in the last couple of years, mostly because of acquiring the portable generators. But that equipment does still need to be maintained. Recently, we received an email from the city saying that a form of preventive maintenance on our vehicles is on hold right now because they can't get caught up maintaining their own fleet, particularly their emergency vehicles like the police and fire. And those are high priorities, those take precedent over all other vehicles, which I understand. But they just can't seem to get caught up. This is concerning to staff. While I understand the situation there, but it is still, we have a fleet. It's important to maintain our fleet for the safety of our staff and for the public. And so I put in my staff report a couple options that we should consider. One is to go again, reach out to the city of Newport Beach or the Orange County Sanitation District, see if they're willing to maintain their fleet. The other option, which is actually the option I prefer, is more of a hybrid approach, and that is we would hire vendors, qualified vendors, generator vendors, to maintain our generators. They would actually come out to the yard and do the PMs right there, and then have either the Newport Beach or OCSD, if they're willing, maintain like a half a dozen of our vehicles. Because the heavy duty vehicles, the combination trucks, those are being maintained by the vendors. They come out to the yard and they perform PMs. Any major repairs, we take it to the yard. I think it's out in Anaheim. So that seems to be working out well. The other third option is just do nothing and wait till the city of Costa Mesa gets caught up. But I think that's
No. Is the city problem lack of manpower?
yes.
And you know, we had talked about Newport Beach unit before, but that's when we said, hey, we want to keep it within the city. But then my thought would be city back to Newport Beach, Orange County Sand.
Yeah, we gotta shop it between the two and see,
Yeah.
see what the best deal is.
Newport Beach's yard is not very far.
It's right there. Yeah, it's right down the street.
Well, the Orange County Sand District's not that far.
No, it's not. And that'd be another good option. too.
Do they do any other cities
Yeah,
in Orange
they
County
do.
Sand? Do they?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know specifically what, but I know they do.
I think it'd be interesting to shop it to see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I do too, and I think if we're gonna shop it, just for comparison,
Yeah,
go to the county, go to the city of Newport,
yeah.
but also check with a private vendor who can maintain, just to see if they're, I don't know if we're allowed to do that, but to make it more complicated.
We've used them before in the past, and we could, but I feel more comfortable using a public agency.
It's fine.
Than a public agency.
If that's what you're comfortable with.
You know, we got
Trust is, it's hard
Yeah.
to trust somebody with a car,
Yeah.
much less a big truck.
Sure.
Even your own,
Yeah, I
with your own people, it's hard to find a good, honest mechanic. You know, and it's Rob makes a good point. Trust is the big issue.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Dean, you have any suggestions while we're talking about this? Because you guys are busy already with your own stuff. You know.
we might keep in mind other benefits we might derive from our Orange County Sand District.
Yeah.
Situation.
I think it'd be good.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
If they're available, that'd be great. Who are you going to make that contact, Scott?
Yes.
Okay.
Do nothing is,
Do we just want to give Scott the authority to go with,
Well, he had.
or
he
to come
has
back
that.
with us?
Yeah, just an FYI, kind of what option do you prefer?
I have one question.
Dean, Arlene has a question.
I'm sorry.
Hey,
I'm
guys,
stopping
you go.
everything from this.
Yeah, then we
I
can-
just had one real quick question.
Go
Can
ahead.
I do it?
Go ahead.
You know, on the organic cans, is there a possibility that we could send somebody out, say, once a month or twice or every other month, just to clean off these organic cans? You know what I'm saying? In other words, they have a bowl, something that they would be washing it with real quick if people wanted to.
Well, we were in our
Or is
video.
that-
We'd have to put
in our
this
video,
under
we
new
went to
business
just
or
wash down
something at the
that.
end.
I know that.
There are private vendors out there that can do it, if you want to do that.
Oral communications.
Yeah.
We got a lot of flack for that video.
Yeah.
They're like,
Because we're
making
violating
water
the Brown
systems,
Act.
Trying to enforce new rules for water
Unless
use.
it's,
can I just interject something? Without bending the rules here a little bit, I think we're getting into something that's not listed on the agenda we might get in trouble with.
Okay, okay.
So
Good
maybe
point, good point.
if we could talk about this at the next study
Yeah,
session.
I'm sorry.
If you could agendize that, I know at the end of your agenda, Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are in the process of building cart washing vehicles, because we have one or two cities that want us to do it on a regular basis. So that may be an option for you.
maybe put that on the next agenda for the study session.
Maybe the next study session next month. Yeah, thank you, I'm sorry.
No problem.
Okay, then let's put that on
Yeah.
that. It's
Thank you.
worth,
Yeah.
Meeting adjourned.
You got here just in time.
Let the record reflect the director is now.
Bothered to show up.
Sorry to do that, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
ratted you out.
No, we have to follow the Brown Act, you know.
Yeah, thank you, I'm sorry, you can leave.
Yeah, you want to say, okay.
Okay.
So
If we don't know what else, I'll just call you.
you have direction then on
Yes, I
this?
do. Perfect. Thank you.
We're on item number 8, Director.
Thank you. It's good timing. Now Director Uten is here, because this was one of the issues he wanted to talk about, was the inflow reduction program. And so before you is an overview of our inflow reduction program. As you know, inflow is rainwater or clear water going into the sewer system. Too much of that will inundate the treatment facilities at OCSD, and then that will result in the sewer water, wastewater being pushed back, and that's where you'll see the manhole covers lift up, and you have SSOs. And it's a big concern with the supposedly the mother-in-law of El Niños, which apparently we're not going to be getting.
No, it's supposed to hit on February 28th.
Is that what it is?
What, El Nino?
Oh,
That's what they said on the
All right.
news this morning.
What's the
I'm just
over and
telling
under
you.
on that?
But obviously, it's a big concern with regulatory agencies about controlling the inflow. And so back in October of 2015, staff and myself, we had a big meeting on preparing for El Nino. And we believe the best course for preventing or reducing inflow is to seal and plug and seal manhole covers. As you see in our staff report, we have 4,650 manholes. Prior to our October meeting, we've already plugged, we've already been very proactive in this program by plugging over 1,100 manhole covers. But after our meeting in October, we determined a little over 800 more manhole covers to be plugged and sealed, which was pretty much about half of the manhole covers to be plugged and sealed. Now, you don't want to plug and seal all of them, because it does create some gases in the system, hydrosulfide, so we definitely still want to have some ventilation, so we want to plug all of them. But we think right now that the number of manholes that we have plugged and sealed will be sufficient to achieve the goal, which is, the goal is to have ingress of less than 2%, which is consistent with OCSD's goal. And as you see in the attachment, in January we've had two significant storms. As Elizabeth mentioned earlier, we had the big storm first week of January, and then we had another one on January 31st. And then you can see the report that Robin prepared for you, that basically anything, you need to have over an inch of rain to calculate the ingress. And based on so far in January, we've been successful meeting that goal of less than 2%. I also have attached as a bunch of maps that we obtained from the city of Costa Mesa that are streets that are prone for flooding. So we identified where those manholes are located, and we made sure those are plugged and sealed as well. That's part of the 806 manholes that were plugged in the program. That concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Does our staff do the plugging?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Who did these maps?
EPC.
I mean, when I was kind of scrolling through them, there are some obvious areas. I mean, for those who've been in town for a long time, we know the areas that flood. Some of them are kind of unusual. I know there was one over in my neighborhood that I had some questions on. I think it's Iowa Street or whatever. Yeah. But were these maps done in conjunction with what you just said in terms of having to have an inch of rain?
No, these are just maps. The city identified areas that they knew flooded.
Yeah.
So we took that information and we created a map. We put that flooding information on our map, and then that allowed us to know which manholes to flood. So this is one of the benefits of a GIS system, is to be able to do nice looking maps, and these are very helpful.
Good. Okay. There were some areas that I don't normally equate with flooding areas, but I'm glad we're being proactive with it. I think it's
I was looking for Mesa Verde. I had a couple friends that said people were canoeing on Mesa Verde in one of the storms, and it's not on here. So there was Mesa Verde Drive has very poor drainage. And I don't know, go a long ways before it gets there, but so there's some other potential opportunities.
Yeah,
Maybe we could draw a kayak on the street for the staff. I don't know where in particular it is, but somebody took it.
I know the areas that I've seen, especially like where Gibraltar enters out onto Geeser. There's a storm control
Inlet, yeah.
That thing fills up with debris every time it rains, and the city doesn't always catch that one. But it's funny where that part of Geeser kind of goes like this, and then it goes back up, then it goes down the hill to the bottom. So it's on Geeser
and Gibraltar.
Or not, Labrador.
Oh, Labrador.
Labrador.
Okay.
Yeah. Mr. President, Director Uden sent a few questions by email. I'm here to answer those if I can.
Go for it.
Thank you. So, Director Uden made an inquiry with regard to Mendoza pump station. That's one of our pump stations, and how we calculate inflow is we compare the dry weather pumping run times with the wet weather, and the difference is the amount of water that's coming into the storm. So these two storms on 1.6 and 1.7, unfortunately, either the rain gauge that I used was plugged or there was a problem, but for the January 31st storm, I didn't get the data I'm used to getting from OC Watershed. So the map here, or at the end of the last page of your attachment, we'll get to that in a minute, but with regard to Mendoza, as Scott mentioned, we plugged and sealed virtually every sewer manhole that is tributary to the Mendoza pump station. And the amount of inflow went down. It didn't go down as far as I hoped it would go down, but it went down. So here's how far it went down. The last time we had a storm about the same size as the one on January 7th, we had approximately 139 minutes of extra pumping at Mendoza. On the storm on January 6th, we had 86 minutes of pumping, and the storm on January 7th, we had 113 minutes. So it went from 139 to, say, 86 one day, 113 the next day. Well, that's a substantial difference. So that was a very well done effort by the boys to plug and seal. However, there's still a lot of inflow, and we wanted it to go way down. So we did an additional investigation of the Orange County Fair property. We had written a series of letters signed by Scott that the fairgrounds has these open areas that are tied to the sewer, and they're large. And that means rain just pours right in, and we just get it. They made some improvements, but not all the improvements. We're not even sure whether physically they can make all the improvements, meaning do they have somewhere downstream that they can pipe the areas that are getting the water? And I don't know the answer to that. So we are still getting significant inflow from the fairgrounds, and that was part of the area that was identified in Brown on OCSD major II study years ago. Lastly, Director Uten asked, how do we calculate our II percent rain ingress? As Scott mentioned, we want to be below 2%. So how do we calculate that? Well, here's what we do. We have the runtime, dry weather runtime for a pump station, wet weather runtime. So we take 4 or 5 of the largest stations, calculate the difference between dry flow and wet weather flow. Then we take that percentage increase of our larger stations, and then we proportion that over the whole district, assuming that areas where we don't have pump stations we can get the same percentage of inflow. So that gives us the total inflow that we think we have. And then we divide that into how many inches of rain we had over the size of the district. It's a volume. X by Y by 1 point something inches equals the total volume of water. So we have the water we think that went in the pump station by proportioning over the district divided by the total rain. That's the percent ingress. And these last two storms were 0.92% and 1.3%, so we're certainly under the 2% that OCSD asks us to be. 2% is great, 0.92 and 1.3 is good, and the decrease in Mendoza is good, but we want better than that. So.
I have a question, Rob. When you talked about the fairgrounds, do you think that inflow is coming off of Arlington Street or on the fairgrounds site itself?
On the fairgrounds site itself.
In their manhole covers?
Not just manhole covers. They actually removed and regraded one of the big offending areas. But for instance, I have a few pictures. And
Because Jim gave us a report about they're working on, they're going to be working on Arlington Street.
That's
Right.
swale.
That's swale right there. I thought maybe that might be a contributing factor.
Well, it'll have some effect.
I would think so too.
I'll just run some quick pictures by you, just so you can.
While you're getting your pictures together, I was wondering, that's state property.
Right.
How
Right.
do we handle that? Because
Yeah.
they can do anything they want.
I know.
But
But we
They
work
have to follow the rules.
we
Yeah.
work close
If they're
together
sewer,
with them.
They have to follow the rules.
Yeah.
We asked
Of
them
our
not to
agency.
have any inflow in that area. Look at the size of that.
oh,
We did not see any improvements in there. That's a big area. This one is the,
It's kind of gnarly looking.
yep. This is the Equestrian Center wash rack. They did
Yeah.
put a cover over that.
Oh, did they? Good.
So, good for them.
oh.
And number 3, this one here is the maternity barn wash rack for the sheep and goats. I knew you'd be interested in that. We did not find any improvements over there either, but we're not sure whether they have downstream areas to drain into, which we have to check. We asked them to, they have all these open cleanouts. Here's 5 cleanouts that have no cover. And this is all
When were
covered
these pictures taken?
this week.
Oh, wow.
So, and they're all covered in a comprehensive letter from Scott to the fairgrounds, and we resent this letter to their current assistant chief executive officer a month ago.
Who's that? Who's that? Oh, Nick Buffa.
No, it's a lady and a lady.
Oh, I thought Nick Bupa was the assistant.
Yeah, the
No.
general manager is a lady, and the
Yeah,
assistant
Nick.
general manager.
Okay.
And then lastly, this was the big
That's what I
area
thought.
that they did regrade. So
I thought he
there's,
did.
we made a major improvement in that area. So, well, let's put it this way, when we sent that letter to them, and we sent it to their general manager and assistant general manager, didn't hear back. Didn't
Really?
confirm they got it, didn't confirm they're working on it. Was like, went in a black hole. Kind of the same thing it did when we had been working with the engineer for the state property, the new engineer for the state property, Fairview Hospital.
Yeah.
It's now the development center. So it's not easy. And
Well, maybe Scott should personally make a phone call to the general manager. And, he'd be.
Just get together and meet.
Adversarial about it, but, just ask.
it would be good to revisit with the fairgrounds what areas are still
Or have Mike
good,
maybe
what
call
are
him.
bad.
I don't know.
Because they have made improvements, that would be
Yeah,
that's
that's
a beneficial suggestion.
And how can we be of help to you?
Exactly.
Because we could
We've
possibly
offered
be.
engineering, like, we'll look
Right.
for you, like, if they're going to put a storm drain in Arlington, am I correct in that?
Well, it's not
There's
a
swale.
drain,
Swale.
they're gonna enhance the swale
It's a bioswale.
with a bioswale.
Okay, well, when you do anything storm drain, this is the problem. There's no storm drain for these things. That's why they're going to the sewer.
Yeah.
So we should go to them and say, now's the time. Do your planning.
That's why I brought it up.
Yeah,
There
I
you
know.
go. All right, well said. Excellent suggestion.
Yeah, she's pretty cooperative, so.
Hey, Rob, are these marks right here, are those manhole covers?
Those were manhole covers.
So what did they do?
They took out the manhole cover, regraded and paved those. So, you can have less manhole covers on a sewer line.
Yeah.
When did they have they have hookups now for the RVs in there?
Yes.
They do, I didn't know that.
Sure, they always have.
No, they
No,
always
no.
have electric, but they
All
never had
those-
sewer.
All those, we asked them to put spring-loaded covers on those things so that, when they're open, but
Yeah.
you can close them, then they're just left open.
Okay, Mr. Mosher, you had, I'm sorry, Director Itten has a comment.
Which 5 pump stations do you use to do the calculation?
Eldon Harbor, Victoria, and, last time I used 4, Eldon Harbor, Victoria, and Mendoza.
So you do use Mendoza, so it's
Yeah.
probably the worst.
Yes, and yes, Mendoza's the worst typically, And we also find that rain is not constant. There could be a cell that pours it right down in one spot and 50 feet over, no rain.
Did that fence ever get built there? Mendoza? Remember you and I went
No,
out?
you know what, the new, no, I don't think it did.
Yeah,
No,
they were going to put a,
no, no, good.
they kept asking us to pay for
Yeah,
it.
yeah, we budgeted.
Mr. Schwank, go ahead. Sorry for the long.
Thank you. It's good that the district maps were updated with the city of Costa Mesa flooding information. I just wanted to point out that there are areas of the district sewer system that are in Newport Beach, and it would be good to get information comparable from Newport Beach as to where problem areas are. This map from Newport Beach shows the city boundary, and the brown areas are areas that would flow into the district sewer system. And I believe the report mentioned that the Irvine pump station near Mesa, at the end of Anniversary Lane, was one of the problem areas. It's a low spot. I know from personal observation the 23rd Street pump station, which I can see out my living room window, is a very low spot in the Irvine Avenue curves. I have no idea about the...
When we include Eldon, that includes both 23rd, Santa Ana, and Irvine. So
Yes.
those three stations flow into Eldon. So when we include Eldon, we are including the water that's getting in at 23rd, Irvine, and Santa Ana.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but the point I was trying to make is that there are areas in Costa Mesa that are flat that seem to have flooding according to the maps that they have there. And I'm unfamiliar with this area of Santa Ana Heights, but I'm sure the city knows if there are streets there that flood during rain, and they would be flowing into the manhole covers if they hadn't got attention.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's
Thank you
good.
for the information.
very good suggestion.
Okay, anything else on the item?
No.
All right, thank you, good report. Item 9, closed circuit TV.
Thank you, Mr. President. I know the board does not like typically taking directions or taking action on study session agendas, but I'm requesting this one favor to do so. Because, as you know, last your board meeting, you approved the contract.
Yeah.
You approved the contract for the closed circuit television program, and we forgot to put in the agenda that we don't have enough money to perform the services, so we need to approve a budget transfer of $486,000, and that's what's before you today.
Any discussion on the item?
Move approval.
Second.
Motion and a second.
And that's over a few years, isn't it?
Any other questions or discussion? Call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous, 5-0.
There'll be the same amount spent next
Yeah.
Item
No, half
10.
of this.
Scott, if you don't mind, I'll just kind of jump in a little bit. Scott sent me a request last week. Is it last week?
February
Yeah.
2nd, yeah.
Nolani received a letter from someone named Eric O'Donnell, who is a public affairs person out of Newport Beach, asking for us to present a certificate or resolution to the Mesa Water Board on April 14th. Mesa Water has exceeded their 20% mandated water conservation target, so this public affairs firm would like us to present a resolution commending Mesa Water on that date. Scott asked me what I wanted to do, and I said I'm going to let everybody else know before I make a decision. Didn't we have a 70th anniversary last year? Did Mesa Water give us a resolution on their 70th anniversary? I didn't think so. So, board, with that, I'll let you guys decide what you want to do.
Well, I think we take the high road myself
I
and go ahead and do it. I mean, that's the right thing to do.
Okay.
Whether they choose not to do the right thing is their prerogative.
I was just being facetious, but I agree.
Public relation wise, we should.
Can we put in there how much, even absent all the pissing and moaning by their board?
We can certainly add that if you'd like.
Grumbling.
No.
Well, we can
I'm
send
not
them-
sure how high that road
We can
is.
send them a tape to that.
Oh, yeah.
Bitching and complaining. I've never seen such a bunch of babies.
This should be deleted.
I'm sorry,
from our
Gina.
minutes.
I can criticize him now. My brother doesn't work there anymore.
Do you want to do a proclamation?
Sure.
Do we want to wait?
What's easier?
Do we want to wait till March? Because
Yeah, we bring it back to
I will reach out to you the first week of March once we have reached the final data numbers. Do we want to wait
Yeah,
until they reach
yeah.
the final data numbers to make sure our proclamation is accurate?
This is cumulatively, because they were short a couple months.
I know,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
No, they've met their cumulative numbers.
Yeah.
Who hired the public relations?
I mean, that's.
Well, that was my question is,
Mesa Waters. They work with
have
Mesa
they,
Waters.
is this firm been working with them? Sorry to put you on the spot, Gina.
Yeah, it sounds
Yeah,
good.
they
They're a
work for Mesa
contractor.
Okay. Now, as far as their board meeting on the 14th, I may need one of you to step up and present that because April 14th is kind of a red letter day for me.
What, Valentine's Day?
It's my wedding
That's-
anniversary. for
Oh
crying
my
out loud.
God.
So I'm not sure.
Really?
I'm not sure. Caught
No,
between
you're not gonna be allowed to
doing
do
something
that.
on my anniversary or going to a Mesa Water Board.
I thought you
They
were
do
going to say
serve
you were going to
treats
do your
there.
taxes.
Oh no, my taxes are long done before that. I hope.
I'm in Sacramento.
Yeah.
haha.
I have a golf match.
I'll do
I
it.
do.
Director Uden's volunteer.
And then I can read into it whatever I want.
Yeah, but
So-
you'll be on tape
Don't
though.
let him do it.
As we get closer to that,
That's a Friday.
No, it's a
Thursday,
Thursday.
it's a
Yeah,
Thursday.
their board meeting's on Thursday.
Yeah,
April 15th is a Friday. I know for sure.
yeah.
So, okay, then we'll go ahead and formulate a resolution as we know the numbers. Okay, so there's your direction. Thank you all for bailing me out of
Are we the only presenter?
it. I don't know.
All you might be.
It might be. Okay,
You wanna make the page?
then future study session items, anything anybody has to bring to Scott?
Just that one.
Just the one that Arlene brought up
Yeah, good.
Which would be so nice.
What it was.
about
Yeah,
the
something.
cleaning the trash cans, cleaning the organics cans.
This was organic cans.
Oh.
You know, just the idea of once in a while coming around and being able to clean
These-
it
Did
for
he
the
agree to
residents.
Well, we have to talk about it later because we didn't. It wasn't on the agenda.
And he said has something he would add too.
I think in light of that also, we need to have a discussion with CRNR, maybe at the same time, about the potential use of taking our trash to the Newport Beach
That'd be
transfer station.
I don't know. They were just waiting for the scales the last time we talked to them, so I don't know
think
if
it's
they
up
put
to
those.
them to do the scales.
Yeah, it is. They have to do it because Newport's requesting it.
But I think it's a contract, the contract needs to be changed, and our costs need to be lowered, I think, as a result.
We may raise them. Sure.
They may consider it. Also, we did, I wanted, at least, I got the contract information at the board meeting, a little bit of time that I brought it to show up. About, there was a consent item that we were underpaying for the organics cans. Did Alan agree that we owed him the money, or was that your decision?
That was my decision.
No, then I want to check it out with Alan, because the language is not clear. It's basically, with CRNR, we agreed to a new can charge of $9 and something. I don't know what it is. Anyway, something more. And then we went out into town halls, and Dean and Mike were there. And Scott presented information to the public that said we were only going to pay for the cans for the people who accepted the cans. And then we went out, and Javier and Lawrence went out, and they looked at multiple family housing, and they decided to pull 20% of the cans. There was some percentage of them that aren't going to get them because they don't have room for them, or whatever. It was a logical criteria. So we started off not paying them for the residences that didn't receive cans. And so I still want to at least think that through. the wording in the contract says, organic cans at such and such. It doesn't say per residential unit, which would have been, favorable for the district. And it doesn't say, there's no wording. And so I think it can be, what I wanted is a crafty lawyer to help me interpret that.
Should we do this at a regular board meeting instead of a study session?
Well, I don't care.
I mean, what do you think, Scott? I don't know.
Well, I mean, we can do it offline with Alan, and if Alan says, they're entitled to that money, then I'll forget it.
Well, I was thinking Scott could ask him to research it, and he could give us a report on that topic.
Sure.
I mean, I think that would be a better way to go.
Okay. But I mean,
That way you know for sure how
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
either way,
Because Alan doesn't come to our study sessions unless we request him.
Oh, okay.
That's the reason.
That's a good idea.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't care if we do it offline or at a meeting.
Well, I think everyone would like to know.
Yeah, I can ask, I know what Griffin is asking. I can ask Alan to give us his interpretation of what it says.
Okay.
And then I'll report back his findings.
Okay. I mean, it's not a great amount of money,
No.
but I think it's leverage that we can use, with them when they start taking our trash to the transfer station, which the only reason for using it is, they save money.
That could be something on the study session next time. See what position you're in right now. Because we've talked about that like 3 or 4
Or
months
if
ago.
they are even considering.
Well, they were considering. They were just waiting for the scales because that's part of the contract they have with Newport Beach
Yeah.
is to use that as with
Yeah,
the scales
so
included.
they have
for
to do the scale.
Yeah, because they only use like half the capacity right now.
Scales are, they're just load cells.
Yeah, I don't know what they are. But
Also, another one that I would like to see on the study session for us to discuss one way or the other is if we can get on the Chamber of Commerce list for, say, October.
for a presentation.
Yeah, presentation, just not the 5-minute, but a real
big one.
presentation.
The sponsor.
Well,
Yeah.
do we want to wait till October or do we want to
No,
do
you
it?
won't get it in October. You have to almost,
I know.
say.
I know that.
Oh.
Do you want to do it earlier than October is what I'm saying.
Oh,
If possible.
you
Because
don't want to do it during the summer because a lot of people are gone.
yeah, they don't
you know.
even meet in July, I don't
Yeah.
think.
So,
But
I just was
just
thinking
give them
October.
an
because,
update of the program, I mean, like the organics
well,
program.
organic, the way it is, and,
Because you have to get on, plan ahead for those because
Yeah.
they get booked out.
Yeah.
The only thing, Arlene, is the people that come to those meetings are all businesses which
Yeah.
we don't serve. For the
Some,
most
yeah.
part.
but it's in the hope that we will be serving eventually.
Well, most of those businesses don't use our service unless they live in Costa Mesa.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But it's a good presentation to them, though. Like Scott always
Yeah,
does a
no,
good
I
job. Just an update on the organics program.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to hear
Well, I
what
just-
Scott says at that time.
I just
Yeah.
wanted
Yeah.
on the agenda, if you want to put me down on it, fine. But,
No, we
at
should
least
talk about
have
it.
it on there
Yeah.
Yeah.
for
We
the
want to
study
put you
session.
down on it. Marlene,
Shoot down on it.
I said it wrong.
The only thing I had is, I was at SDRMA board meeting last week, and one of our topics was the Safety Claims Education Day in March, which hopefully we'll all
Yeah,
be able to
that's
go to.
right.
I know I'll be there. You get free food, so,
Is
free
that-
breakfast and free
is that
lunch.
his doc luncheon?
That's the SDRMA.
No, it's
That's
SDRMA.
Where's that at?
It's in
It'll
Newport
be in
Beach.
Newport Beach, at the Marriott.
What time of the day?
It's all day.
What's the date of that?
Just go like
Do you know?
March 29th, I believe. There's a reception on March 28th in the evening, and then is that the time when they're scheduled for the SDRMA board to tour our facility, or was that a different time?
Yeah, I didn't get any calls from us.
Okay. Normally, once a year, we, as a board, visit one member district, and I thought that we were going to be the district that they were going to have the board tour.
I don't know. I didn't.
Well, and I may be confusing it with when they do the CSDA conference. So
Is that a Friday?
if you could follow up with that, just
Marriott?
one of you send a note to Ellen and find out if March is when they're going to want to do the tour.
Is that a Friday, Bob?
Ellen Dowdy
Bob, is that a Friday?
or Greg, either one.
Tuesday? You sure?
Just a second. Yes.
What is the Tuesday?
March 29th is a Tuesday,
Yeah,
right?
it's a Tuesday.
Because we have the reception will be on the 28th at night.
Yeah, Monday night.
Okay. That's all I have.
Do you know where it is?
Yeah, the Newport Marriott,
Which one?
the one by the dunes, where they have
Oh,
the
yeah.
gentleman. It used to be Newporter.
Yeah. Number quarter in.
Off Jamboree?
Yeah.
Okay, anything else from anybody? Staff, anything? Anything for us this morning? Nice to see you. Okay, if there's nothing else, then we'll adjourn to our, yeah, just, need the guy with the pink armband?
Yeah,
I
what
wanted
is
red.
that?
Would they inject